Today on What Went Wrong, another episode where we're really gonna piss the shit out of some people. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've made over 40 feature films. And through the years, I myself have ideas of the way things should be and ideologies and the way I wish, wanting to change things or whatnot. And
Change the world.
Yes, and as I progressed, I started realizing reality. As the art became more of a business, I began to understand the film business.
People forget that it is a business.
Yes. And that's one thing I'm going to be talking. You and I have never really talked too much about this particular topic that we're going to discuss today, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. And what by the title of this video, I know it's probably going to get lambasted because if you've noticed the title, she's got to be a 10, maybe a 9,
maybe a 9.
I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Red Pill and Manosphere viewers just based on that alone.
Well, but you can always say, look, it's not my fucking idea.
Yeah.
This is not my idea.
Yeah.
This is your idea.
And that's the thing that I want, an important point to stress is that, if audiences acted a certain way and went to a bunch of different movies of one type, those are the movies that are going to get made.
Right.
The fact of the matter is people go to another type of movie. And and a great example of that is the everyone's always complaining about the lack of originality in Hollywood and all the sequels and all the remakes and all the reboots. Well, they make millions on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Quit going to them; they'll stop making them.
Exactly. So what we're going to talk today, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of the experience. Personal experience and personal tales and stories of things that have happened to us that back up what we believe in,
right.
and what this of this principle, and that being when it comes down to looks.
Yeah.
When it in my book I use an example of locations.
Right.
And what I mean by that
I remember reading that.
Yeah. What I mean by that is do you want to go see a movie that's taking place in the streets of Venice or the rivers or canals of Venice?
New Zealand.
Yeah, with these beautiful landscapes. Even in Utah for westerns with the
big sky,
big skies, or the streets of Paris. Or do you want to watch a movie that's shot in downtown Corpus Christi?
Right.
You want to go places exotic, things that you don't see every day. You go to work every day. You don't want to see a movie made in your office. Right. It's just the same thing with people.
It's escapism.
It is. So when you're going to a movie, you want to see beautiful people. You
right.
want to see people that you get fascinated by,
right.
and that you're just captivated by. You don't go, and no offense to all the relationships out there, but you don't want to go see your girlfriend in a movie. You want to go see the 9s and the 10s, and that's men just as much as it is women.
Oh yeah.
However, I will be upfront and I will be honest. Yes, men get a little bit of a leeway on that.
Well, that has nothing to do with men, though. That has to do with what women want.
That's true.
It's one of the things you talk about how, and you hear chicks complain all the time. Yeah, I said chicks. Fuck off. Hear chicks complain about, well, men don't have to do this, men have to do that. It's like, look, sweetheart, let me mansplain to you if you like. I don't really particularly think you understand a guy. When I look at a girl, okay, and I think what I think is beautiful in a girl, she can wear a t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans and some, tennis shoes or boots because we're in Texas. I am perfectly good with that. Oh my God, you look fantastic, okay? Or she can wear a dress and some sandals, and just have her hair down and a little bit of makeup if she wants, whatever, I was like, and I'm gonna go, damn girl. Because she's what I like,
mm-hmm.
okay? It's not about her clothes. It's not about her stuff. But here's the thing. My friends, who are guys, are not talking about, oh, just see that dress that Sarah was wearing? Or just those shoes? Or, I don't give a fuck. Hey, your girlfriend's pretty hot. She got nice tits and ass and blah, blah, blah. Or whatever else. And to be fair, smiles are big for us. She's got beautiful eyes, nice hair, long. I love long, dark hair. And so that's whatever. And guys are like, man, she's pretty hot. And then we move on to talking about cars and guns and whatever else we're talking about, We don't give a shit what she's wearing. Ask girls to talk about what girls are wearing. Oh my God, did you see those shoes and that dress that so-and-so? Oh, she's letting it all hang out. It's the chicks that are doing that shit, not the guys. We don't give a fuck what you're wearing. Girls, I'm going to let you in on something. We don't give a shit what you wear as long as you're happy and you feel beautiful in it. Okay? That's what we want to see. But that's not what girls want to see. And unfortunately, that's what's happening. So don't get pissed at us for that. You're the ones doing it, not us.
It's a very good point.
Oh! Anyway, that's my pet peeve of the day.
This when I started the series, I went into it wanting to make sure that we address things from a realistic standpoint.
Realistic,
There's
yeah.
a lot of shows out there that will talk about filmmaking, but they leave a lot of stuff out. And
Because honestly, no one wants to see how the sausage is made.
yeah. And that's, in the first segment, when we first started doing this in 2015 with Brad, we only did like 10 episodes, and then 4 years later we finally picked it up. But
Had to let it simmer.
Yeah. We knew going into it that the people we were going to piss off the most were actors, because we were going to be honest and talk about the problems that actually happen on set. And the truth be told, 70 to 90% of problems that pop up on set are actors. And if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to be aware of these, or you will be caught off guard when you start making films and all this stuff happens.
And you realize these people are assholes.
Yes.
And they're stupid.
So
And they're never on time.
So that was one of the things we set forward to do, was to make sure that other filmmakers understood the problems that pop up. And in order to do that, we had to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So we do our very best not to mention names or specifics. There are going to be people who we talk about that will be like, "Are you talking about me?" Yes, but we're not telling everybody it's you. We're not showing your clips.
Don't worry, we're letting you be an asshole to other people too.
Yeah. So we try to protect them and protect our identity and things like that. So we keep things in generalities.
Right.
In this episode, it may be a little more difficult.
Yeah.
And it's never meant as a direct insult, especially on a topic like this.
Well, we're not talking about you, the actor. We're just
Yeah.
talking about actors in general and problems that happen. And if you were a problem, well, we're going to talk about the problem.
Yeah. And the sad thing about this particular topic is it really isn't the actor's fault.
No.
It's some of the people that we're going to talk about or use examples of are not. They're some of them are great people. Some
Yeah.
of them are the best actors we've ever worked with.
Right.
But the way the world is, they don't fit into that looks category that is going to catapult them into success.
They have to fit a certain paradigm. And unfortunately, they are missing some of the necessary tenets
Yeah.
of that.
And
It's not their fault. It's not their problem. I mean, it is their problem, but it's not their fault.
yeah.
And we're not accusing. We're not. It's not that we're talking down about them because of this. Like they can fix it.
Yeah.
It's just the way the world is, man.
And I'll
Once
be the
again,
first to say,
we're not the ones making this happen.
yeah, and I'll be the first to say, you and I will probably completely agree on this. We're no tens.
Fuck no.
We're not. We're not the Cary Grants.
No.
So, but we accept that, and we just go, okay, that's just not the way it is. These are the characters I can play. This is what these are the styles.
Yeah.
that
I mean,
work
when
with.
I was 8 years old, I was hit by a truck. I
Yeah.
mean, come on now.
Yeah. I was unfortunately born this way.
Yeah.
But I'll give up. I'll start with a positive example,
Yeah.
but also use it as a negative, I guess, in some ways. And this is a positive, so I will use this as a specific person as an example. But out of all the people we've worked with, I've worked with, in just the Innocent Saga alone, 500 people.
500 something, yeah.
I throw all the movies in, we're talking over 1,000 actors. that I've
Easily.
worked with.
And the videos and all that stuff.
And several of them have moved to Hollywood in an attempt to do it, and many of them still stay here and try to do it. And the closest anyone has ever gotten was Rich McDonald from The Night Watchman. He
Yes.
played Walter Baker. I mean, perfect specimen of manhood. Great looks, great build, great actor.
Yeah.
And he was in Generation Kill, an HBO film. Had a lot of other roles, and he eventually came back to Austin. Um, but several other actors have moved out and not been able to, make it out there.
Yeah.
Some of them have been incredibly talented, but they just didn't have the look. And my hat's off, to Rich for making it as far as he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm incredibly proud of him.
Yeah.
And what he's accomplished.
I remember talking about him.
Yeah. However, from our own personal examples, from our own films ourselves, we have had the opportunity to have a film. This one particular example in Japan receive full distribution from a major company out there. Loved the film, but turned down the movie because the actress was overweight. And from our perspective, she's not overweight.
Yeah.
I mean, she's incredibly gorgeous actress, beautiful, very talented, and she's one of the kindest, nicest people I've ever met.
She really is.
But the Japanese audience doesn't go for that
shocked.
type of.
You mean the Japanese didn't like the way that? I can't imagine.
Now, here's another thing that happened a few years ago with the Sony hack. When the interview came out, all the North Koreans hacked Sony and released all the emails, and one of them came up about Denzel Washington and The Equalizer, how there was a lot of hesitation to put Denzel Washington in there because he was black, and it wasn't a negative. Oh, he's black. We can't put him in just because he's black. It was a monetary thing. In America, I'm like a truest traditionalist in terms of I loved the show Equalizer, and
the old TV show Robert McCall.
Yeah, Robert McCall for me was always that British Secret Service guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, come on. I mean, I love Denzel, and then I watched the movie. I was like,
yeah,
fuck, he did it.
Well, there's a difference, right? Because you get that whole thing where they're gonna make Black Annie. Oh God, or they're gonna make Black this.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, or they're gonna make Hispanic whatever. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I was the same way. I was like, but once again, I've loved Denzel Washington since Glory.
Yeah.
And so he's one of those weird. How do I say this? He's one of those people that transcends because he is such a phenomenal actor that his color is completely immaterial to whatever you put him in.
Yeah, and to me, it wasn't even the color thing. It was the British thing.
Yeah.
If Denzel, if they cast Idris Elba,
Yeah.
as the Equalizer or McCall, I've been like, cool.
Yeah,
got it.
right.
But for me, that was a British thing. But even after Denzel, I was like, shit, I love this. Is a great movie.
It was a great movie, and he was fantastic. I don't watch many movies.
Yeah.
But
And I think just yesterday the trailer for the new Batman came out, and what I'm gathering from it is like they have the Commissioner Gordon. It looks like he's a black guy. I'm like, cool, no problem there.
Well, they had Harvey Dent back in the original.
Yeah,
in 1989.
It was going to be Billy D. Williams.
It was Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams.
And once again, I was like, oh, cool. Didn't.
Yeah, but getting back to the Sony hack and what they were talking about, it wasn't about, a black man can't play the Equalizer. For them, it was, and America, nobody really had a problem with it.
It's overseas.
It's when that's what people in America are so in such their own little bubble, especially when it comes to race and social
anything.
justice and anything. Yeah, you're right. Anything.
Americans
You
are.
step outside of our borders, and you will see true racism. And
You've never seen racism like you've seen in Asia.
Yeah.
I just came back from Asia. Let me tell you, you've never seen it.
Yeah.
It's like you've seen it there.
Yeah, and with all the companies, making so much money, and especially the Chinese market now, they're bowing,
Oh,
to them.
the NBA can't suck enough Chinese cock.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. but so there comes in the moral dilemma.
Right.
You know, you're a business, and you're going to make $2 billion worldwide if you put a white actor in that, as opposed to, you know, you'll make a lot of money in
You'll make 500 million.
yeah, in
the
America
States.
alone. But you're missing out on 1.5 billion.
But the Chinese don't want a black
The
McCall.
Chinese don't want them. So that's what, you know. So everyone was throwing, you know, hate at Sony because of that. But that was that needed to be discussed.
That is the reality of what you're facing.
And you're a business, and you have to explain to your investors why you only made 500 million instead of 1.5.
And you're going to tell them, well, McCall's black.
Yeah.
They're going to go, what? I was like, you want to sell movies in China? I can't put black people in it. There are no black people in China. They don't want to see them. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Do you want to make $300 million or do you want to make $2 billion? I can't have a black actor here. Well, that's racist. That's this. Do you want to make $300 million or do you want to make $2 billion? We can be very not racist and make $300 million. But that means movie studios, producers, actors, investors, you're only going to make $300 million, not $2 billion. Black, $2 billion. Black, $2 billion, what do you want to do? Those are real discussions you have to have. And it's not because anyone's racist. Well, it's because the Chinese are racist. But it's the reality of the situation in which you're facing. It's not because the actors, it's not because the studio are being assholes. It's not because the studios are racist. They don't give a shit. One of the things you're going to find, people in movies, is you're going to discover that in the grand scheme of things, no one really cares what color anybody is. No one really cares what race anybody is. No one really gives a shit if you've got blonde hair or blue hair or no hair. No one gives a fuck about any of that stuff. What you're going to discover in the real world is money talks. Money is the only thing that matters to a business. That's it. That's all there is. There's nothing else. You can say it's because we're supposed to do the right thing. We're doing this. We're doing that. Money is what makes the world go round. Not love, not rainbows, money. And if you are not having these discussions as an actor, as a studio, as a whatever, you're being irresponsible to your business. Now, it may be reprehensible. And if it is, you're in the wrong business. If you don't like the way things
Go
are
make socks.
Yeah.
Which nobody,
go out there. Hey, come fly airplanes. We don't give a shit what color you are as long as you can do the job. You know, pilots being black, white, purple, men, women, whatever, trannies, we take them all. As long as you can pass the test, as long as you can do the thing, you can fly airplanes all day long. But if you're going to be in the movie industry, you're going to have to deal with the fact that in order to make money, you're going to have to do all kinds of things that's reprehensible to you. If you don't like it, go do something else.
Yeah. And these are the tough conversations, you know. And what, the left is clamoring. We've got to have a national conversation about race. Well, we're having it right now.
We're having it.
And you know, it upsets you. You know, give us a solution.
Yeah.
Don't just say it's wrong.
Hey, here's an idea. Let's stop selling to China. You're not gonna make $2 billion. Let's just stop selling to China. If we stop selling to Asia because they don't want black actors or actresses or overweight people who weigh more than 150 pounds ever, well then, okay, fine. As long as you are willing, as long as everyone's willing to understand that all those big paychecks you were making are going away.
Yeah.
Whereas an actor could make $1 million or $2 million, you're going to make $150,000. As long as you're willing to accept that, as long as you as a person, as long as you as a studio, as long as you as an actor, as long as you as an investor are going to understand the money you could have made is going to be 15% of what it was. If you're willing to accept 60 to 75% losses on a world market, we will put whoever you want in the movie, okay? We will put the social justice warrior in the movie to do whatever. Until that time, until the businesses are willing to lose $1.5 billion. This is it. This is the reality. Like I said, if you don't like it, go do something else. You can hate on Sony all you want. You can hate on Warner Brothers. You can hate all these different things. You can hate on whatever. Believe me, if we start telling stories, we're not going to. If we start telling stories about the stuff I've done for money in my career, you're gonna fucking throw me in prison. But the thing is, these are the realities. The look are the realities.
Yeah.
You know, your actress is too fat. Is she really too fat? I don't think so. But I'm not the one they're trying to sell it to overseas.
Yeah.
It's like, is this actress too black? I don't give a shit. But unfortunately, they care in Beijing.
Yeah.
You know, is this actress, you know, is she too big for this part? Apparently in Tokyo they think so. As long as we stop selling to the 1.8 billion people in China and the 1 point something billion people in India and the 1 point something however, I mean, as long as we realize, as you realize, people, that money is what talks, and that's what you're going to have to deal with, is the concept that you find reprehensible of racism, of sexism, of thinking they're too heavy, you know, beautiful at any weight, whatever. Doesn't work overseas, because that is a Western thing. That is a Western idea. White people came up with that, not them. That's a white people thing.
Yeah.
That is a first world issue. And when you start taking your stuff overseas, it's their rules. And unfortunately, not a lot of black people in Haifei and Nanjing and Shanghai and all these places, or Dubai,
Yeah.
or Abu Dhabi. That's, you gotta understand. You know, this little bitty tiny place. Like I said, I just came back from Korea 2 days ago, and believe me, the United States is a very, very small place compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And if you think that we are the come-all, end-all, this little bitty microcosm, this little bubble that you all live in, you're not going to last very long.
Yeah.
Rich went off and did great things, and he's one person that did whatever he did. And God loved, and I loved him in Night Watchman. I actually just liked to watch what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was fantastic. But even one of the best actors I've ever seen didn't make it big.
Yeah.
You know, why?
Yeah.
Well, because he didn't have one little thing that the markets wanted.
Yeah. You know, when I was in, you know, and yeah, the race thing applies to just looks. You know, the beautiful people. You know, that's what people want to see.
Thank you, Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
Great song.
And you know, when I went back to school in 2012 to 2011, around that area, I would have, you know, the SJW professors talking about, you know, body image and all this. And there I was. That's why they hated me. That's why they canceled the class, because they knew I was going to be in it.
Because you're going to ruin their narrative.
I would raise my hand and say, hey, look, I made films. You know, they were on Blockbuster shelves. They were this, and I used average-looking people, real true body types. You know, the way. You know,
And they did wonderful. I can watch those movies because I love the actors. I love the actresses. The one actress you're talking about. Seriously. Hey, baby. You know what I mean? I mean, wow.
But go look at the Netflix reviews
Yeah.
and the you know, Amazon reviews. And yeah, they'll talk about plot and directing and lighting and whatnot, but the one we get slammed the most is because of the actors. And when you dig down to it, it's their looks. They even bitch about the hair, the makeup. Actresses,
All physical things,
Yeah.
all the stuff that no one's supposed to care about, but everyone cares about.
What one comment was, you know, these actresses, you know, if you want to go see a movie with retired porn stars, you know, and they're not retired porn stars. You know, it was an insult towards the women.
Right.
One was about, and I still trying to figure out what it means, but you know, these girls look like they should be working in a refrigerator factory. I still have no idea what the fuck that means. But it was always about the looks,
Yeah.
and sadly one of the things is that I've talked about before is that people conflate looks with acting talent.
Yep.
And because they don't look, you know, they don't look absolutely, they're not 10s, then people don't think that they're good actors.
Right.
And I've seen that time and time again. So what it's all coming down to is you know if you want to make a successful movie, that is something you have to consider.
Yeah.
Now it's tough. It's because there's a reason that you call them 10s, because there's not a lot of them out there, and to find more 10s that can actually act too is even tougher. So it's a challenge, especially for indies. But that's why they can make the big bucks, when they're talented and they've got great looks.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why they make the big bucks, because people will pay the big bucks to see that.
And that's why they don't last very long.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, as much as anti SJW as it may be, sadly, what it comes down to is money and the truth.
Social justice warriors, another little Western thing, little first world country thing, because once they run into the realities of the real world, that's why you don't see these guys going to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't see these guys going to China and talking about how racist the Chinese are. That's why you don't see social justice warriors going to the Middle East complaining about why women can't drive and what would do this other stuff. Because they would die. Because you're only safe in your own little bubble. And you can complain in your own little bubble. But once you step outside your bubble...
Thanks to the protection of toxic masculinity that's keeping the barbarians at the gate.
That's a whole other set of problems. You know, we can talk about toxic masculinity if you want, because believe me, I have that in spades.
All right, so you want a successful movie, and this is probably another good point. Is you look, you know, if acting and you know, if looks don't matter,
then don't worry about it.
Well, no, I mean, you know, if looks don't matter,
right?
And acting quality and all that, and you just want somebody who's realistic and who just delivers a great performance, and looks aren't big, then why is the porn industry a multi-billion-dollar industry?
I can't begin to understand it. It fractures my poor little SJW mind.
So, if you want to make a great movie, you gotta have beautiful people.
The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I wrote the book on how to make a movie with no money. And here it is. Yeah, see, it's got pictures and everything. So head on over to our website, notsosane.com, and get your digital or paperback copy today.